Well, hello, Stephanie and Rozella in Spokane, Washington. How are you guys today?
Hello, we're good.
Hi, John. How's it going?
Good. I always enjoy our Monday morning update calls and chatting away. And this time we're talking off camera about the economic activity, and boy, is there a lot of it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So the CPI, as the day we're recording this, Consumer Price Index came in today, and it came in favorable, which was really surprising somewhat. It was at three. Expected this is the consumer price index is a measure of inflation. So three means inflation is clicking along at 3%. And you'll remember that the Fed's goal is 2% is what they wanted to. Now they look at the producer price index more, but they're kind of similar. So we're going to focus on the CPI today. It was three. It was expected to come in at 2.9%, and it came in at a wonderful 2.8%. 0.1% better than expectation. And I know that's not a lot, but it's enough that the markets are happy with that. The rates didn't really change much today, guys. And that's partly because of the tariff activity and the fact that people were thinking that this was probably Trump's attempt to get negotiations going, and then he wasn't really going to do tariffs, but tariffs are going into effect 25% for steel across the board and everything, and that's hitting the everything right now, and the markets don't like that. So questions first of all, and I got a couple things to show you after this.
With some of those materials like that are tariffed, that have tariffs on them now, do you or have you seen anything for like new construction, like projections on maybe that part of the
That
housing?
is such a good question. And I actually did see something to that, Rosella. It's been a week or so back, and I don't remember what the numbers were. They're trying to figure out there are products that go across the border and back, especially between Canada and Mexico and the United States, where these tariffs are hitting. Products will come across the United States and then back over to Canada, and then back over to and back over again. And they're wondering how many times the tariff is going to hit it when it's going back and forth across the border. And I don't know specifically if that applies to building materials for homes. They were talking about some other car part that was going back and forth. And so nobody quite understands the total impact of tariffs. I think that's the summary of
Right.
that.
Okay. Why were products going back and forth, back and forth,
Well,
back and
it
forth?
was a raw material that got refined over the United States into
Oh,
steel or something, and then went back over
yeah,
to get formed into
yeah,
something else, and then back over and so
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah,
I got you. I got you.
stuff
That
like
makes
that.
sense.
Yep.
Okay, so the overall take is nothing much has changed for us. Slight improvements, but our market in as far as housing has stayed the same.
Well, we'll pop into that and I'll show you some numbers overall housing,
Okay.
what to expect right now. I
Okay.
think the theme of this conversation is there's a lot of uncertainty about tariffs, whether they're going to last for a long time or whether they're just the negotiations are going to come together and the tariffs are going to go away. And the markets are not liking that at all. So there is fear of not just inflation, but recession, that R word that we like to use. The
Yeah.
Fed has done, from my perspective, a really good job of managing the inflationary data and getting it under control without causing a recession. And
Okay.
now that the tariffs are there, this is the difference between fiscal policy and monetary policy, which we've talked about. So the monetary policy is the Fed. They manage the money supply and rates, basically, and that's what they can control. That's their levers. Whereas
Mhm.
fiscal supply or fiscal policy is the administration of government, and they do taxes, and they also do this new word called tariffs. And you're seeing the impact of fiscal policy to things. Chase upgraded their percentage of us going into a recession to 40% now from I think 20 some percent below that. So a significant increase. And a couple others did as well. They all increased the chances of going into a recession. So that's not
When are
good.
they predicting that the recession would start being seen or felt, or we'll see it?
No
Let me get
predictions of
this
timeline,
movie.
Oh, no predictions? Okay. Why
but
so?
fears that's going to happen. Well, because there's so much unknown, right? If the tariffs go away, if Trump takes the tariffs off, then all of a sudden everything's robust and we're all buddy buddy again with our trade partners, maybe, right? But if the tariffs stay in place, then certainly it's inflationary and probably recessionary.
Okay.
All right,
Hmm.
let me show you some good news though. I'm going to
Okay.
share a little bit of information here about housing, what it looks like, especially in a recessionary environment, interestingly enough. So you can see on your screen home values after and during recessions. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so those shaded parts in the blue are recessionary periods, and you can see it goes back all the way to 1980. Can you see my mouse when I do that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's
I
two
can't tell you
recessions
what the
there, and
numbers
notice
say,
that,
but
pardon me?
I can't tell you what those numbers say from here, but yes.
Okay, so that's 1980, is that one back there. And these are short recessionary periods. And this is housing values. And notice that they actually increased during the recession. There's another recession there, another one there, a small one there. And this is the Great Recession, 2008. And they came down because things were really overvalued. And notice that was the only time they came down quite significantly. And then 2020, there was a brief recession and they still went up. So the theme of that is if look at historical averages of what home values do, you can see that they increase during recessions. And in particular, if you look at this slide here, this is from CoreLogic, you'll see these are purchase prices and when you might want to buy. So we've talked about buying and now's a good time. This looks at the time of the year. So you might not be able to read that, but that's January 2022. So that arrow right there is in the February-March timeframe. And that shows you that housing prices went up after February-March. So a great time to buy would have been now during that time period. And if you go to 2023, same thing here, February-March right there, and then prices went up. And you come to 2024, same time period, and prices went up.
Okay.
So if you're thinking about buying a home, as you guys have told us on your channel, springtime is a great time to make an offer and prices will likely go up if you look at the historical average. Comments on that?
I find it very interesting because people I don't think quite understand what the recession does to our market and our people. And then when you see the numbers and the data, you're like, huh. So it actually is not a reason to deter away from it because you can actually get a good deal during those times.
Absolutely. And a lot's going to be a function of what rates do. And you know that if we go into a recessionary kind of period, and that's the reason why housing prices actually go up, because the Fed steps in with monetary policy at that time, and they try to battle the inflationary stuff and recessionary. Recession means the economy slowing down. That's what it means. So they're going to try to stimulate the economy, and they do that by lowering rates. So that's one of the reasons why prices go up, because people start buying with lower rates.
All right. So I just want to make sure I'm recapping this correctly, that in the recession times, home prices tend to go up because on the monetary side of things, the government tries to offset the balance of a recession with making things more affordable through borrowing money, basically.
Yeah, only not the government, Stephanie, the Federal
sorry.
Reserve. Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
Federal
You nailed it for that. Exactly right.
Lower rates.
So interesting. That makes my brain think, well, how much higher are we going to go? Because we've already been on a pretty decent trend with our housing prices, honestly, that I think we're kind of coming back to a healthy. So if we see recession type styles coming, that means prices are going to go up again. So really, if you're wanting to buy now and then refinance later when the rates are lower.
So well put. Yeah, we've said that a lot on this channel, and you're absolutely right. You take advantage of that equity increase on your balance sheet so you can refinance later and have equity in your favor and get a lower rate and not have to buy with a lower rate and then pay that higher price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing us those numbers. I would not have known that, but that
makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, but also kind of seems a little bit backwards that the prices would go up with the recession. But knowing how and why, that's where
it does sound counterintuitive. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Yep. I was interested to see that data. I just saw that just recently, so I wanted to share it with you guys.
Thank you for sharing it with us. We appreciate it.
Helpful.
Yeah, very helpful.
Absolutely. Any other questions for today?
I don't think so. That's helpful.
All right. Well, you two get going and go out and find some buyers and start buying some houses.
I need to go make some phone calls to my buyers and be like, hey, I hear the recession's coming. Get on this right now.
There you go.
Don't freak out.
I'm just kidding. That's called panic.
Yeah, I was like, wait, we're not going to panic anybody.
And I just took my code of ethics. We're not allowed to do that. Anywho, if you want to buy,
I
now's
think,
the time to buy.
people are looking at the news and they have their own level of anxiety and confusion and concern
agree.
here. Because, who knows? There's so much going on right now. It is rather puzzling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's
Agree.
a lot of changes.
Yeah, there is. All right, ladies, always good to chat with you. Thanks for your time again today.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Hold on to
thank-
your seats, ladies and gentlemen. We're in for a fun ride.
Yes, we are. But we are here for you all the way through it.
Indeed.
All right. Thanks, John.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.